So as we the end of session 30, I'm not. Is anybody really like seriously saddled with uh, uh, conditions right now that they wanted to do a summary of events, or can we carry on our merry way?
James has a condition for once.
I think I'll let him keep that since he just has the one.
I have multiple conditions.
No way.
I
Really?
have 3, but I'm not hurting
I was gonna
for
say you have 3, but you're a Nova. You're like whatever.
3.
bring the conditions.
I have the sneaking as Bill commented earlier. I have the sneaking suspicion there's going to be like a group comfort and support attack on Concord um, at some point in here. Um, okay, so how did James get how did Harry get multiple conditions? When did that happen? What did I do to you?
Failed stuff and over multiple sessions.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Okay, so last session we had the merge.
When your dice finally give out on you.
Yeah. And then the Plotagon 2 that we just shared up on Mass kind of up on the YouTube just kind of gets us a little bit of transition there where Jason announces retirement and then Alicia sort of stormed out of the room after giving a death glare to Jason, and Jason followed her. And while you guys are out, or while those two are out,
And by you guys, you mean me.
yes, while those two people, as controlled by one person, talk to themselves, literally talk to themselves, in the sense of a single person muttering. I'm gonna have you guys, because who we have left in there is Leo and the girls, Otto on sort of gigantic FaceTime, and Harry and Concord and Ghost Girl, and a stirring chorus of crickets. So Leo,
I mean, if nobody has anything better, I do have a couple things, and I want to start with talking to Ghost Girl, if that's okay.
All right, that's cool. I mean, I like that. Well, since that awkward thing just happened, who wants to talk about a different place for a base? But I'll, go whichever. Your thing totally works too, so go right ahead.
Yeah, I feel actually better talking to the animated dead than dealing with Jason's shenanigans.
Well, that's what the base thing is a good thing to do when Jason's not around. But no, good point. Well spotted there. Anyway, so go ahead. What do you think?
So Leo will approach and just ask. So I've noticed something. I've noticed two things actually. The first is that like we got this message from the pony said you were just going to take off the Sepiaverse, and we've noticed that like other times you've kind of just gone off and done your own thing. The other thing I've noticed is that whenever you're off doing your own thing, the team and probably the world always benefits. You're always doing something useful, but it's always like you're doing something useful on your own. I feel like we're not supporting you well enough. So I want to say thank you for everything that you've done, but I also want to know what you need us to do for you.
That's actually wow. Thanks.
Ghost Girl pulls out what looks like a tightly wound scroll, and it unfurls 100 feet with the label "Agenda" at the top. No.
She would be much too polite. It's all memorized. Well, right now I'm really focusing in on, kind of, things that are unique for my own talents.
Can I jump in for just a second?
Sure.
Not that I want to, because remember what you were about to say, but right from where Leo said that, do you feel like that thing right there do you think that's a comfort and support? This big compliment, you're always doing something to benefit the world, but you're kind of on your own. I want to be there. What can we do to help? Kind of thing.
Well, I certainly feel like it's a great step towards sort of my own my own growth towards, identifying versus just the team priorities.
Right. No. And that's probably where he was going with that. I'm just wondering if it really like, because I remember you going, oh, you said like, but I'm just wondering how much that gets right to the quick of Ghost Girl and whether or not that's really like, that is just, wow. Like how does it really get in there? If it doesn't, or if you'd like, oh, I don't want to go through all that, I don't think it's quite to a comfort and support level. That's fine too. I just want to ask the question because I think maybe I haven't always sometimes, and I maybe should.
I think it probably is. I mean, kind of depending upon where the conversation goes.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. I'm just wondering if we want to lead off with that and then have, well, it doesn't really matter. You go ahead and do the. I just want to ask the question. So you were saying your thought.
Well, one of the things that's been, a particular epiphany, while I was in the Sepia-verse was the focus that I've put on the team's needs without really looking at, the things that are unique to, what I do and what I can support. And so I feel that there's a lot coming up that I want to work on around in the fabric between here and the Sepia-verse, and just some stuff around, the other ghosts and what that really means. So those are the things that are kind of, on my radar right now. I guess, sometimes it's just that I'm being impulsive and, need to head off and feel like I'm doing something when, feel where I fit with other things.
I assure you, I understand that feeling very well. But I also want to say that your needs are part of the team's needs, and if we're not seeing to those, then really when you say the team's needs, you just mean everyone else's needs, and we need to figure out what you want to do as well. One thing I've also figured out is that I think we're doing a lot of assuming about how you work and how your world works, and I think we haven't done enough listening. So what I would really love sometime is like a good explanation of what your condition means to you, what your fellow ghosts are, what you really think is going on with yourself, what people need on the other side and so forth. I would love to hear that sometime.
Well, since I'm still trying to figure that out myself, that's a bit of a tall order, but yeah, I think that would be good because I think it's something I'm going to need to do in order to, put in the fixes that need to happen too.
Sounds good to me. We will do science on it.
I love
For
it.
science.
Oh, No, the thing is that like the science doesn't mean that like we can't have the supernatural. Science just means like, can you do that again, only more slowly, and I'll take notes. So I might get distracted with like trying to explain something. If you find that's the case, go get Arya and have her like restrain me. She's much more interested in this stuff than I am. She will not stop and question you. She will just kind of roll with it. So I'm letting you know she's your tool to keep me under control.
I want Arya to give you finger guns right now so bad. Just like a little wink. I'm not going to do that though. Although, yeah, that'd be funny. Anyway, yes, absolutely. She adds. Do you, after an appropriate pause, she'll add in there. Do you want to talk about housing? She kind of sotto voce. Is that right, Dave?
Yeah. Sotto voce.
Sotto voce. Do you want to? I mean,
I'm sorry. Is that directed at
it was,
him or-
Here,
it was directed to Leo because they've been talking about stuff around that, and people are here, and Jason's not in the room, which would be potentially awkward to have that conversation.
Oh no, this is the perfect time to have this conversation.
That's what I mean. It's awkward if he were here, is what I meant.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally fine. We'll see if we can get other people together and be like, hey, you guys, I got a question. You guys just want to camp at the Quill Cafe all the time, or do we want to talk about like other places where we can set up a base where the security system, for example, won't become the ghost of our former teammates or current teammates, dad, and try to murder us all? Just a thought.
Now you're getting picky.
If it's extended relatives, that's fine, just not his dad.
Otto's like, I feel as though we're setting kind of a low bar here, but I'm still here. I'm on board.
May have something that can help.
Tell me more.
My grandma.
That is not how I thought this sentence was going to start, says Otto.
She was part of some of the.
I think it was the acronym was the SOS. It was the Society of Superheroes.
Yeah, she was one of the members of US, and guys are dead or retired now, and I was talking with her, and if we wanted a place we could use one of their old bases.
You mean like what, she has all the old keys or something? And
yes, she has a giant key ring.
I swear I was joking when I said that.
By the door.
All gently illuminated by Edison lamps.
I would love to check that out, because I got to tell you, like, my alternative is not that great. So.
Yeah, no dumpster diving for us, please.
No, it's one of my dad's old. Anyway.
So it's okay. It's okay to go to one of your dad's old places, but not a place where Jason's dad is in charge.
Yeah, that's because your dad has tried to kill us personally.
With my dad, it's just for science. So
Yeah. To be fair, it was an electronic ghost of his father that tried to kill you personally.
Yeah.
It's hardly the same as, swarms of robots built by his dad, controlled by Rook, trying to kill you personally, which has also happened.
Or your friends.
That's a level of indirection I'm prepared to accept.
So, if nothing else, a little bit of oh God, what's that TLC show where they all like go house hunters Halcyon.
House Hunters Halcyon. House Hunter Lair.
Lair Hunters.
Lair Hunters.
Lair Hunters.
Lair Hunters Halcyon.
Because there's like ones on houseboats or tiny homes or
God.
You got to know that there would have to be one of this
oh my God.
Superhero bases.
Oh my God, a tiny house superhero base for like 5 people would be so funny. Oh my God, that would be so good.
Only if they're tiny heroes.
With bicycle parking out front, yeah, just
that would be they get to they show up at like a big like fight scene or something like that in the house, like they just roll up, pulling it behind like a Jeep.
Oh, what is it? The Baba Yaga?
They just roll up in the house with like the Jeep, and like it's a pink Jeep with like the Life is Good cover on the tire, and oh my God. All right, guys, that's it. I mean, search over. We just found that's what we have to do now. Okay, so put a pin in that to do a tour of maybe some of the options for that the old SOS might have on mothballs that you guys can check out, and also check out the Rossum base for that matter. You probably need to talk to Waters about that, but
that entire place is wired floor to ceiling with Aegis monitoring instruments.
Oh yes. So does it definitely?
You really want that?
Well, the thing is that they're going to sneak into any base we occupy and put them in anyway. I figured this way they just cut out the work, and
they don't need to go anywhere. They just need to turn stuff back on, or hell, it's probably already on.
It's still on you.
passive monitoring with motion sensors on right now, just to like see if anybody sneaks back in. Honestly, when you wrote that one scene where he was going down into the ravine, I thought that's where he was headed until I got to like where it was like, oh no, it's just the ravine. I honestly thought that's where he was going. I didn't know what was going on there.
To the Batcave.
To the well, yeah, I didn't know what was. Okay.
It's under stately Wayne Manor. Too bad the state is New Jersey.
Yikes. Oh my.
All right, so in short, we'll ask Carrie like for an address, and we'll go check it out at some point. So yeah.
Okay, so you guys are now. The conversation with Jason and Alicia, I don't think went on for too terribly long.
Can I add something before
Yeah,
we go
absolutely,
to that?
absolutely.
I said, I think that's great for, like base kind of stuff, but I think it's really important for us to support Jason and still hang here, because I think he's going to need us.
God, what would Summer say to that? Probably something like, "Oh yes, yeah." Otherwise, it's just him pushing a handcart through aisles and aisles of warehouses with a flea-bitten or a moth-eaten cardigan.
I will say privately, one of her goals is probably to get him out of here, and she said so in the past. So
yeah,
whatever excuse can be given to Jason to get him out of the house once in a while will actually work. But yeah, he's gonna by the thing that he announced, he's gonna spend a lot of time here. So yeah.
Well, the red flag comment that he made, probably for anybody who would consider there to be red flags, would be I'm going to dig through all the stuff that we have in storage and figure out what uses can be put to. That's a red flag. The less so is I'm going to find ways of funding the menagerie and the irregulators and other teams that don't have deep pockets like the HHL, which is actually pretty cool. It does, I also intend to leave him as an NPC, like a SOS of last resort kind of situation.
Well, I mean, after Leo and I had their conversation, Leo's actually going to ask him for a job, and he's just going to break down and be like, "Look, just fucking, I'll be one of your tech advisors, okay?"
I just need something help, not warehouse manager, please God.
Oh no.
No, it lets me develop Ed as a character. It puts you in charge of like Warehouse 13, the creepy warehouse. But there's a pay raise. Yes, because the things in the warehouse will eat me. Hazard pay for warehouse duty. Okay, no, that is a very good point. So
Yeah, Jason's gonna be kind of put out if he waits 5 minutes after Alicia goes back into the rest of the room and then comes out and everybody's gone.
no, yeah. Left a note, it's like, gonna go check out a different base, see ya. Just take everything that happened when Summer sort of summarily departed and multiply that by a factor of everybody in the room, and it would be like, oh God, I said I was quitting, and that was literally the only thing keeping them here. Oh, the spiral.
The free piece of the chips go a long way, but yeah.
Yeah. So there's probably like, as you say, you left, Alicia comes back in and there's like 5 minutes of just sort of general small talk. Alicia's back in without Jason. Did anybody, Summer with the little, can we do that Summer thing with the card?
Yeah, she's got coupons for Blitzkrieg, and she's going to give those to Alicia if she can.
All right. You two go. Yeah, Alicia, go.
Thank you. Wow. Next time I'm at liberty to actually go and buy coffee and blintzes, I will definitely find a bus to take me there.
I float over and say, "Oh, the blintzes are great. You have to come with me. I can take you there sometime." At which point, I'm not sure who has the more pained look on their face from having traveled this way.
Yeah, because Alicia got a little taste of the shadow travel.
I guess when we were coming
Yeah.
coming back from the Sepiaverse, so
It's not exactly the same, but it was certainly in that
Yeah,
zip code
but
of
not
experience.
like the Jason racing through the bowels of the White House.
Oh no.
I have to say it wasn't exactly conducive to appetite and digestion. But I suppose if the blintzes are good enough, thank you. I appreciate the invitation, and thank you for the coupons. You are suggestively selling well.
Well, never mind. I don't know who should be playing Summer right now.
You go ahead.
All right. Well, I work there. It's after school job, and
right.
It's the place where they did the
Well, they did the AMA.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So let's not mention that. I think there's still some of them in PTSD from that. But if I'm getting things right, Alicia came back in, and about 5 minutes later, Jason came back in, so that the return wasn't.
It would probably be. I didn't actually imagine there was that huge gap. It was more like they did not come back hand in hand or arm in arm, but definitely with her leading the way and him kind of like peeling off once inside the door and going over and seeing if anybody's playing video games, because that's. Hey, look at that! You shot that guy with the thing. Yeah.
Does he have any broken limbs or anything like that?
No, all the hurt is internal.
I am innocent. Alicia's like, I'm innocent of all but malice.
Actually, Alicia's the one that's hurt, not Jason.
A little bit.
They're both not probably doing great at the moment. It's been a long day for both of them.
Once everybody's back in the room, Otto he kind of like, because he's sort of sitting at the couch on the big screen. It's kind of nice because the screen's big enough that if he sits, he's actually kind of to scale, like 1-to-1, like he's almost the right size. It's more like he's like just in another room through a window. I got something. Maybe, I did not usually my line, I guess, but we're all in one room. I think I'm I could have done without the simulation of nervousness, or the reality of nervousness. I think we could do with maybe a moment of silence for a fallen teammate. Maybe.
No, I think that's a great idea.
There's no maybe about it.
So,
At which point, Alicia looks really, really, really confused.
Yeah, I would imagine.
She's got that raised eyebrow of, and someone's going to tell me what's going on in just a moment, I'm sure.
Meanwhile, Adam's in the corner just looking solemn.
So, I don't know. I think you guys all know that I don't know how moments of silence really work, ever. So, I just want to make the suggestion. I'll let somebody else. Anybody want to say something? I guess that's not how you do a moment of silence, but maybe beforehand.
I have something to say.
No, Kaylee.
I have something I can say.
Go for it.
Bill was an invaluable team member, cared for each of us, especially Adam, in his own way. That we need to do what we can so that live on.
Well, and I think it's really important to just say how much I appreciate, the work that Saul went to support Adam and to help him grow. And, even if he was not always Your thoughts, um, in terms of thinking of him as, of our team because he's so much a part of Adam. I just wanted to say that we're going to miss his presence.
So, does anybody else have something to say? I don't want to interrupt.
I do.
Okay.
I think from what I experienced of him, Saul was a weirdo. Saul had these crazy ideas, and he sometimes got out of control, and he didn't really understand how people work most of the time, and he had a lot of power, and just dealing with him was kind of difficult at times. But he was there for Adam, and I think all of those things are why he was one of us.
Oh, that's so good. Well, somebody's got to roll a comfort and support there, but you guys go ahead and.
Yep.
Jason chimes in. He kicked ass, and he protected Adam, and he protected the team, and he protected the world. And I completely agree. We need to remember him.
Hey, Dave. Not to
Yes?
break the solemn moment, but would Alicia be like, "Who's Saul?"
No, Alicia's just going to kind of sit back and observe at this point.
She's
not.
I mean, she is by nature, at least in part, an intelligence gatherer.
Right. There's no points to be scored in her being snarky at this point. So she's just gonna observe, try to understand what's going on, and go from there. And given basically why she's back in the room, she's not gonna poke at anybody at the moment.
So, yeah, once everyone else has said their piece, Adam's just going to be like, Saul was a weird robot that came from someplace I don't really understand. He fought space aliens and all sorts of stuff before he came to me. And then he helped me fight supervillains in really odd predicaments. Sometimes not even in my own body. Well, when I wasn't in my own body. But he was my friend. And I really miss him.
That's so good, you guys. All right. I really want.
Never happy, always wanting more.
Yeah.
Sound like Alicia's dad.
I mean, because he was the first one to go, I really want Harry to roll the comfort and support. I realize that that's.
because he does so well there.
I know, and his mundane isn't very good either.
No, it's a bad plan.
This
is a bad plan. My comfort.
He was texting to me earlier. Every time I roll comfort and support, I get a condition.
Oh, that was Savior.
Oh, right, Savior.
Savior, you're good at. You're really good at Savior.
I've been rolling low the past.
Yeah. Well, I think somebody should be rolling a comfort and support for. I really feel like somebody should be rolling a comfort and support for Adam on this because
I'm happy to do it.
All right, let's have Link do it, and then we can have everybody certainly has justified their ability to help if we need help for that, and we'll see where we are as soon as I can get back around to that screen.
That's a 7.
That's a 7, and for some reason the team got zeroed out, but I think we didn't have a lot left because we sort of got zapped last time. But the 7 is still normal comfort and support. We're not putting any points in the team, but that is okay because I think, honestly, what feels really right to me is these are teenagers.
All of our teenage awkwardness trying to show support.
Exactly. This is, I mean, I remember when somebody had to go through when I was in high school and somebody had to go to a funeral and older senior kid going, I didn't buy this suit to wear to a funeral. They just didn't know how to do that. And so that's okay. It's okay that they're not necessarily perfect at this kind of stuff. They really shouldn't have to
Shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Well, Leo in particular is not going to be great at this right now because he's still feeling guilty for having caused this. He feels, but yeah.
Okay, so comfort and support on a hit. They hear you, and I certainly feel Adam's already opened up. Mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels. So Adam, that's for you.
I have cleared a condition. I need cleared insecure.
So what I would like to, what did you clear out of curiosity and why?
I cleared insecure because he's got everyone's back, or everyone's got his back right now.
That's great. That's excellent.
I don't think that we answered the earlier conversation with Ghost Girl. Did you want to do?
Oh yeah.
That. I think that's a question for Margie, really.
Yeah, I was. That's why I'm saying, oh yes, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, we can do that. I think that's appropriate.
And not think. So that's actually Bill rolling in as well. So let's see it. What do we got?
Woohoo!
Oh wow, excellent. So I'm flipping back over there to. I'm flipping to the wrong place here. Get open our basic moves. So the extra part on that comfort and support is on 10 plus. You can also add team to the pool or clear condition yourself.
Team to the pool.
Go to the team to the pool. All right. And so Ghost Girl, you can. I don't think you have a condition right now, do you?
Nope.
So you can shift labels or mark potential.
I'm gonna mark potential
Yay.
because it seems like the right thing to do.
It's not often that we have very rarely had a comfort and support that actually resulted in potential, although it's sitting there as like a real like sort of potential engine.
It's been a fountain of potential for me because of the bull's heart.
Oh right, because yeah, sure, absolutely. And does that
But on that note,
does that apply in this case?
yes, it does.
Okay.
But on that note, it's not just we probably want to talk about
Potential.
Streak as well at some point.
Say that again.
Talk about Streak, who's not gone, but is certainly not doing great right now, from last I heard.
Yes. I mean, everyone's here. I kind of feel like everyone's just sort of having a group conversation now. So, I mean, if you wanted to have this as sort of like a private question to Harry when everybody isn't looking at him, but it's also kind of, you guys are all in one thing. So,
I mean, if we're feeling kind of somber about Saul right now, which feels like it, Leo might actually bring it up. So, and he'll just ask. My understanding is that that Silver Streak is still in the hospital. What I heard was he's recovering, but it's not yet conscious. Is that correct?
Would you say Silver Streak or would you say your dad?
I would say Silver Streak.
You're so lame.
well, he's been at the
I think we've
house.
established that.
He's got problems with the D word. And honestly, most of the parents very few of the parents in this game have done anything to dissuade him of that aversion. So,
Haha.
Truth.
not all, but very few.
Enough.
Enough. Yeah, certainly enough. So Harry, what do you got there?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Do they know why or have any idea if you heard?
I can't remember if I feel like I said that there was some sort of like some sort of energy blast or something that he took a hit from.
I thought you said in the last one that
I may have missed. Go ahead.
like last time with Grandma that they feeling well, but they can't quite figure out why he's still in a coma.
Yeah, his body has pretty much physically recovered. He's got, typical, he's got like same kind of regenerative abilities that metabolism, so forth, that Mercury has. So his body is solid. He just hasn't come. He hasn't woken back up yet. Nobody's 100% sure. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say, I think out of character, Mike brought this up, but Leo will also remember because he was there, and he will point out, when Jason had something like this last time, Adam was able to help him out. I don't know if they have some expert or professional or somebody with skills or powers on this already, but like if not, do you think they'd mind if we take a look?
I mean, they certainly don't have anybody like Concord around.
There are a few people like Concord.
Yeah, they don't have. I mean, that skill set's relatively rare. They've had metahuman skilled trained doctors, that sort of thing. They don't have a ton of like hypertech hooked up to them because there doesn't seem to be and nobody's been volunteering to like make psychic contact, anything like that.
I hear they have a sorceress on staff. Think we might be able to lure her to the hospital?
For some reason, I feel
Asking
like
for a friend.
Is she talking about Hecate? Are you talking about Hecate? This
Yes.
is awesome.
No, we're not talking to her. Okay. No. God, no.
Which I don't. So we haven't exactly nailed down, but I don't think that Alicia. Well, no, I know for certain that Alicia didn't actually directly get communications from her dad via Hecate, in a way that she would know that it was Hecate. Whether or not that was actually how it was happening, which certainly a lot of people are kind of aiming that way, and I honestly, that's very, 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 very likely how it was all happening. That's not something that she would have put together because her dad never really had any interactions with her. But the sepia version of Hecate was certainly not on anybody's side except for her dad's. So I don't know if Alicia would have known that Hecate was the current wizard on staff, so to speak, with the HHL. But putting that together with who Hecate...
I mean, aren't the HHL's members public knowledge?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Pretty much. Some of them are more or less like in the public eye, but it's pretty easy to access. It's more. I mean, I don't have a problem with her asking this, certainly, because it's, if nothing else, just to gauge the group's response. But it is Hecate, and Hecate in the CP-verse definitely a bad guy. So, or at least on your dad's side, or
right.
Your dad was on her side.
Right. So I know that, and
clearly,
but I haven't connected the dots that there's maybe some connection to the Hecate on this side, or the Council of Hecates, or however.
Yeah, that's definitely not common knowledge. So,
okay.
And I don't think anybody really necessarily have that. Well, there is somebody who definitely knows that is the case, but they're not you guys. And Jason hasn't gone and talked to her yet. So, and now he never will.
I guess this is really a question for Harry, which is kind of what Leo's driving to. Is like, would you be comfortable and would you be interested if we kind of went and took a look at that whole situation?
I'd have to ask my mom, but see a reason why not.
A little bit nerve-wracking there.
Like, we'll try not to have everything catch on fire like normal.
It's a hard run for us.
I mean, yeah, really all anybody knows is that when the word came that there was something that these guys were trying, because at some point in time, I can't remember who it was. I'd have to go back and listen to the whole thing, but somebody said something about, it was when Leo kind of figured out the triangulation thing, and that there was probably something under the mountain or something like that. Streak went after it. Something happened to him down there. So he wasn't really around most of the team with this when this happened, and he was details of how he was recovered back out of that are a little sketchy at this point, or at least they're not being made public knowledge. So, and nobody in the hospital rooms really said very much about it. So that's
Because they just think you're little kids.
well, the family is not necessarily talking about the particulars of, like, they're not doing a play-by-play combat breakdown while they're sitting there in vigil.
Well, but I mean, they haven't bothered to tell Harry.
Yeah. Or Harry hasn't asked.
And I would be surprised actually if none of them were doing some sort of
Oh yeah, well the
blow by blow combat breakdown
Well,
analysis.
yeah,
of,
but
you
just
know,
probably not in
because
the,
that's a good distraction.
yeah, but that's the whole HHL, and a lot of those guys aren't actually hanging around the hospital room
True.
very much. So, and honestly, Streak was really one of the people for that kind of thing. Not just he didn't just do that to Harry; he did it to everybody. Or doesn't. Shouldn't say past tense. Anyway, but no, actually, yeah, Adam's thing possibly a very good idea, or getting the concordance in there is kind of a good idea. So that's a plan. Probably not for right now. Visiting hours are over, and probably some sort of arrangements need to be made to get non-family members in there, given that he's in the ICU and stuff. But well, I know you guys.
Hours.
I know you guys can get in there. That's not really super doc. Yeah, I've seen that girl power thing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be now, just at some point.
No, it's a good point. So okay, so the energy level certainly got a little somber. What's the next? I mean, what are you guys doing like in the next like 5-10 minutes? Is this like break up into small groups, kind of just chat around the room? Another round of
Oh, so we know when the next bad thing happening is.
chips and soda? Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, Leo's going
I
to.
have a 10:30 curfew.
I have a 10:30 curfew. That's about a half an hour from now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, Alicia turns into a pumpkin in about a half an hour or so. So probably.
I'm hauled off and sold for jack-o'-lantern.
So probably rude to leave before then. What do you guys do?
Leo's going to try to pull Jason aside at one point and have a talk with him.
Okay. Tell me about that, and then I got another thing going on. Because
The short version of it is I need more money than I'm getting right now, and I need to figure out a place to live, and I'm willing to be your tech advisor if that gets me one or two of those things.
ooh, well, that was unexpected.
I literally wrote some fiction on the forums for it, so
No. I mean, I'm saying in character, certainly not out of character.
that's fair. That's fair.
You mean like I'm gonna have to start playing Jason. So you mean like when you
I
say
was being quiet and letting you do it.
when you say tech advisor, are you thinking like the warehouse and you digging into all that juicy tech down there and figuring out what the heck to do with it?
Well, I guess that's what you're doing, right? So yeah.
I mean, that's part of it. I want to do stuff with it. I don't want to catalog it. I want to catalog it also, but I don't want to just do that. I want to figure out what
No, I get that. Obviously, like I'll be straight with you here. When I built that replacement body for Summer, I didn't build it to replace what you two had built for her. I built it to supplement that, and she's still using that thing, and that's fine.
Really.
She seemed very keen on this whole plan that you got of reusing and repurposing the stuff or using it for better purposes. And I think she's very interested in that project as well. I'm on board with that too.
Didn't know that. I bet. Huh. He kind of looks over at her. Yeah. I mean, provisionally, yeah. I'll have to figure out a way to. I want to kind of figure out what we can do with some kind of. I want to build a grant, and because I have no shame, or sense of irony. I want to build like if I want to sell this to the board, I want to build like a Byron Quill grant for like super teams doing good stuff, or something. And maybe if there's one that's not so science oriented, maybe I'll do one for Rusty too. But some way I can get money out to the team. But that's aside from this. That's just me. I'm thinking out loud right now. But yes, provisionally yes. Just as soon as I can figure out where to allocate the money from and talk to Barbara and everything. That sounds great. I also want to try to figure out how Quill Enterprise can basically bankroll some of these teams through some way that makes the board happy with getting their name in the paper and stuff. You know,
Arya has a lot of ideas. Talk to her about that.
Okay. Wow. I didn't know. Talking to them would be nice. I kind of wasn't sure that was right. Meanwhile, while Jason's all over the place.
You're Jasoning beautifully.
Am I doing it okay?
You're doing Jason justice.
Thank you.
we brought in, talked to a girl. He went right off the rails. It was beautiful.
Thank you. Do what I can. Harry, something weird is happening. There's you're catching little, nobody else seems to be reacting to this, but you're catching little flickers around the room. You know, the whole, you know, it's that sort of big, great room. Like there's a table and there's like the kitchen space and then there's like the conversation pit and that whole area where you guys have been sort of hanging out. You're getting weird and you can't decide if you're just tired and you're getting like, I don't know, where you are on the timeline of teen student thing, but where you get tired enough that your eye muscles start to twitch a little bit. You don't know if it's just tiredness or what, but you're getting just weird flickers on the edge of your vision around the space. Kind of what people are just sort of sitting around and talking and that sort of stuff. What do you do?
Think I go
Scream like a hungry 4-year-old and point? No.
Ask or Summer if they're seeing something, since I assume they have optics to the human eye.
We'll say Arya since Summer's gotten a few lines already. Sorry, I'm just resorting things here. No, not well. I'm not. And she's kind of like, she kind of backs sort of to the edge of the room and is like looking and is like, I don't know. What are you seeing? What? I'm not picking anything. And she honestly, I don't know how many of you guys have seen Defenders, which isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But
I love Defenders.
The Daredevil guy got better, I think, or did some interesting stuff with his head in that. He's played Daredevil now long enough that I'm seeing kind of like doing what I see people do when they only have, or I've seen dogs do, where they only have like one good ear. And they sort of like keep moving their head to get this. They sort of simulate stereo sound by moving around a little bit. And she's sort of doing like that. She's kind of moving her head in weird kind of twitchy ways to kind of like double check her readings against like 1 millimeter over.
Like a pigeon.
Yeah, yeah. And that may be weirdly what you, it's a reminded of. It is, I mean, and Bill, how much different are Arya's senses? I don't want to make too many assumptions here. I mean, how close to human is it for her?
So it's kind of a hybrid, and we've gone back and forth on this to give you some room to
see
what ought to be. But generally speaking, she has a human brain and human cognition, which means her ability to use those senses is only about as good as a regular human being's. That said, the human eye is actually pretty substandard. We have blind spots. We have like the way that our optic nerve is wired. Makes it that we don't really have really good vision. We spend about 2 hours a day actively blind, and we have compensation mechanisms in our brain to account for that. She doesn't need any of that. So her eyesight ought to be actually really good. The real question is, can she make use of it?
Yeah,
I mean, the potential is there, but you could just say a bad die roll just means no, and a good die roll.
Which is honestly what I'm kind of thinking about in terms of her because she does have a human mind, and she would instinctively or even subconsciously use some of those tricks that people come up with to deal with one bad ear, one bad eye, kind of maneuvers. Except she's got all of her senses, but she just isn't trying to capture. What you've set up, Harry, is a way for Summer to help you if you want to do assess the situation, realizing that you have conditions and all
Sure.
that. Actually, real quick before we get into that, this is maybe more a planning thing. I'm asking the player of Harry, do you think that having your team kind of offer to help out with your dad and sort of step in there and say, dude, we want to help if we can help, is that touching enough to count as a comfort and support for you? Or is that just more, just sort of like, is that more just planning stages kind of stuff, and it's all just logistics, and it isn't how you react to that? I don't know one way or the other.
He's a lot more feeling. I think it could count as a comfort and support.
I mean, Bill's managed to position these things so that it's Leo rolling them, which I don't really have a problem with. So I mean, we're gonna jump back in time just a little bit for this, because I'm a kind and giving GM, and I know that I'm about to make you assess the situation on something where you have a condition. So if the option exists, and this would have happened before, I'm going to make sure that happens. So, with all that in mind, Leo, you want to go for a hat trick on your comfort and support? Holy buckets! So that would be a yes then.
Yep.
Team to the pool?
Yep.
All right.
Oh, and by the way, I still have 2 hold for Harry from my vulnerability and weakness move. So if team needs to be spent for either of the girls, they can spend from that.
Okay, you've got kind of, I don't want to say fake team, pseudo team.
Yep.
Functioning that way. Okay, that's good too. All right, so Harry, if you want, you can clear condition. I would suggest guilty.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, from a sheer metagaming's point of view, that gets you clear for.
Well, not even that. Harry's guilt was described to me as he feels bad about not seeing to his dad or wanting to get away from his dad, and now we're presenting an option whereby he can address that or help address that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense too. But I like how the two things can be married together. So Harry, if you would roll me I believe it's superior.
Mm-hmm.
For this, and we'll see what we get. All right. So the 5, while painful, is easy enough to get up to a 7 with a little bit of assistance. Now, one of that can easily be Summer because damn it, Area. God, now I'm doing it again. No, in this case,
I was trying to give them distinct names.
I know, and now I'm just doing it. I thought somehow my brain said, no, you have to say Summer because Area is her old name. No, dude. Because I've so far shunted Numa and Numina back out of my brain that now I've got these two. Now I'll get there. This is.
Just don't call her Jason.
This is part of the.
If both of them
or you could just go by Alicia's, naming, and it's Leo's robot and Jason's robot.
No, absolutely not. it's hard enough for me to listen to us talking about the bots in the first 3 or 4 sessions and go, oh, guys, seriously, what were you thinking? No, this is part of my fun, recently diagnosed, like, weird, like, manifestation of weird dyslexia stuff that I've just discovered over the last year. So I'm just shit with names, and it's because I file things weirdly. It will all sort itself out in like, you know, 6 months.
Mary once described it as, you know, like if you have multiple, you know, if you've seen like grading, you know, anything where they start with the big sieve and they work down to the smaller sieves, right? You and I are missing that bottom sieve.
Well, no.
And so, you know, so things get stuck at a more granular level. And so you might have things oddly grouped together.
Yeah, like I don't have a problem with reading, never have. But for me, my main and most notable manifestation is what's that guy that works in the department, starts with an S? And I can't remember anything about him except his name starts with an S until somebody says Steve. And as soon as I get Steve from accounting, this whole drawer of information piles up.
Yeah.
Because I've got it all filed under just the first initial, and I can't find the goddamn drawer. And yeah, we were doing some stuff about a year ago, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a weird that's a more rare manifestation of dyslexia. I'm like, awesome, great, good to know. Anyway, completely out of nowhere, but so area can help. Do we want to use? What did I do there? I did something weird with the team. I didn't mean to put as many points in. Oh, I see what I did. I did something really weird with the team. I meant to go up.
Oh, that's okay. You can just leave it there. That's fine. We won't complain.
I wrote like I was supposed to deal to myself, and instead of saying deal 1, I dealt like the number that the total should go to.
Nice.
And it ended up jumping. So Arya, do you think would just spend out of the hold, Leo?
Yeah.
Okay.
If Summer can help as well, then we can spend that other point of hold too.
They can't. I mean, there's not really, other than the sort of twin speak that you guys do. You guys can't. They're not like, they don't have a Bluetooth connection. That's ridiculous.
No, not at all.
All right.
But they're close enough that they can probably recognize each other by body language.
Right. So it's somewhere in here when Arya is acting kind of weird and sort of looking at the room and doing all this stuff, someone will notice and kind of come over and between Harry going, I'm catching something weird. Summer will kind of take a couple steps over and kind of look as well, and they're sort of comparing notes and weird, like, I don't know, the air is like, is it some of the plants, is that weird leaf fan turning what thing, and they're like, so Harry, I think there's something moving really fast here. Can you, oh, this is going to sound weird, can you move really fast without moving? Like, and then look?
Yeah.
All right, so what does that look like? Is it what you do when you phase? Kind of? I'm asking as the GM for you to tell me what that looks like.
Similar to phasing, though, I'm not focused on the vibrations of the floor or the movement of the atoms in the floor. I'm more focused on the movement of the atoms in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Which means I don't go falling through the ground.
Yeah, you don't phase to like drop through a thing, but you phase into sort of a different vibrational plane. Does that sound about right? I mean, basically?
Yeah.
Hang on. Okay. So I need an image here. That's not good. Okay, this'll.
I can comfort and support the fast moving thing if you need.
Oh, this'll work.
That's all I do.
I was gonna say that Charlotte could probably help this, but she's
Yeah. Okay, this kind of does what I wanted to do, sort of. Okay. You don't. All right, since we got a 7, we're going to get kind of a weird thing here. We pushed it up to a 7, and we're going to look at that move, which is assess the situation. When you assess the situation, roll superior on a 10 plus 2 on a 7 9 ask 1, take +1 while acting on the answers. Probably what here is the biggest threat, or what here is in the greatest danger. What's your approach to the? I mean, which angle are you like thinking of this? Like, what's weird or threatening us here, or what's at risk? Like, what's Harry's mindset?
What's at risk? Because Harry's about defending people.
Sure, no, that's a great idea. That's a great point. Really, really good. So, what you see when you've kind of, I hesitate to use the phrase phase shift, but actually I'm just going to back. Oh no, that's
zone out.
Yeah, when you kind of shift, what you see is that arranged around the room, and it's not like geometrically so, but affixed to various locations around the room. I'm going to give you quite a bit of information here all at once. Are these weird little devices, pretty much black, and they look like, hang on, this thing, kind of. They're about the size of a golf ball. Okay, so like
I'm not.
Oh, am I not on the right?
Or something?
Am I on the wrong? Oh, you guys have been on the main screen the whole time. I'm terrible. Hang on. Bleep. How about now?
Oh, there we go.
I've had you guys on.
Like little Death Stars.
Kind of. I mean, it's like little
thermal detonators,
circular things, but there's like little beads kind of all around like on the outside layer. I'm just kind of seeing how much graffiti was over here on this other screen. And it turns out a bit. All right. I've been missing out on the graffiti. All right. So that thing, and it's kind of combined with, wait for it. I don't love this, but let me just, I'll grab what I'm looking at here. This is a bad example, but I'm gonna go with this. I'll just see if I can grab this and get it into the. Okay, this is going into the chat. So this thing kind of combined with this, except that it's a little bit more like. It's really more like a black lozenge, and the screen that's giving you a clock readout. It's like a little like black lozenge, almost like a portable phone charger battery pack. You know what I mean? And the screen is like a little holographic readout. And even now, phased, it's slightly out of focus. Like they're there, but they've been phased slightly, and it just shows the current time. But they're clearly wired to these other things that don't look friendly. And there's about 20 of them scattered around the room in various locations. And because you're asking what's in the greatest danger and you rolled a 7, I'm going to give you 2 answers because you need that kind of nightmare right now. And the other
Sanity in Jason's apartment.
Tempting, but no. The other thing is that you see, I shouldn't have taken that other picture down. That was silly. Oh, he's big. Let me get him smaller.
Concerning.
Yeah. You see this guy just for a second kind of flicker into where you can see him. It's like he slowed down for a second, or not even quite, almost like he turned face on to you and you couldn't see him until he was like facing this direction. And he grabs the heart machine and runs. Almost like as he takes a step, you see him kind of accelerate out of focus again as he's heading out the door. So the answer is those two things. What do you do? Because there's bad things on the wall and you can see them, but there's also the massively bad thing of the person grabbing basically a suitcase full of hypertech and taking off with it.
I'm going to run after it. That contact the team.
And you mean like get them on the radio while you're going after him and just tell them like what you saw in the room?
Yeah, tell them that there are these bomb things around the room and some alien just sped off with the heart machine.
How do you describe the guy who takes off with the heart machine? You broke up there for a second.
Glowy alien or sea creature or something.
Yep. Okay. All right. So you take off. So you're both sort of phased just because it was helping you see the guy and running. And he looked, I mean, and you can kind of, you're moving fast. You basically know that if you wait even a second, you're gonna lose sight of the guy. So you move. Before I get on to that, I'm going to have everybody. So basically, Harry kind of fades out, and Alicia, you were kind of watching this. I'm going to say Link was probably at least partially aware of this because the girls were over there, and they're always kind of on his radar. Concord. What about Concord? Where would his head have been? Is this kind of coming out of left field for Concord, or did he kind of pick up that something weird was going on?
I think he would, like, empathy is his thing. So if the mood of the room is definitely like confusion and worry, I think he's going to at least pick up on that. And then, when Harry disappears, all of a sudden it's like, okay, so we have a problem.
You're getting a room-wide concern meme. Jason's still kind of talking about the logistics of funding and stuff like that while Leo's watching all this. So Harry faces out, and literally about a second later, he's like, "There's bombs scattered all over the room. There's a guy that stole the heart machine. I'm going after him. Deal with the bombs." Thing. Going in order of who hasn't rolled much. Charlotte, what do you do?
I actually do my version of what Harry did, and try and look at, in other words, sort of take away the known bits without really crossing all the way over.
Okay. Why don't you give me an unleash your powers, overcome. Unleash your powers. Because that's going to be.
Is that just a freak?
It's a freak roll. Yeah, you just roll freak, and it's basically because there's you're basically overcoming a barrier, which is to say, like figuring out how to sense this thing. Nice. Okay. So, Okay, I want to get that back up here again. Got these little guys attached to like weird little glowy kind of holographic clocks that all show the time at about 10:22.
So
And-
I quickly, as soon as I see them, I quickly say, because I know that Summer and Arya can follow me. I say, Summer, there.
Okay.
Where I pointed to, and then I'll go to the first one.
When you say follow, just follow. You means in terms of like when you give directions, they'll understand what you're talking about.
No, I mean that if I can quickly go and point to 10 different places, they'll remember where they are.
Oh, right. Well, also you're standing in the same room as, several super geniuses. They're going to be able to figure out the vectors too.
Alicia's going to
Well,
spot
you said it was somewhat random.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're totally randomly scattered around the room. It's just when you point,
Right.
and you're pointing at various locations. All credit where it's due. Leo's going to be able to figure that out too.
I'm just going to say I'm not waiting for anyone else's attention.
Or Alicia.
How's that?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
I just want to go back to what Leo said earlier, which is, yeah, we have a bunch of super geniuses in the room, but those two girls are the ones who have this mystic bent, who are interested in what Ghost Girl can see and do. They're going to be the ones who don't question.
Who would have been? Yeah, they would have been paying attention to the whole thing. Alicia's still trying to figure out what, like, also, is she not on comms yet? Because there's a good chance she's not on comms.
She's almost certainly not on.
Yeah.
Nobody's told me that they've handed her an earbud.
Yeah, so she's not really on comms.
And of course, Jason wouldn't think about that.
So yeah, of course not. And well, certainly not at this point in time. Alicia's standing there, and what she's seen so far is that like Harry was kind of acting a little weird, and the girls were, the bots were acting weird with him. He phases out. There's a big whoosh of air, and then Charlotte kind of halfway goes transparent and goes there, and the girls start moving around the room. And that's kind of what she's seen up to this point on. So you can see them, and Charlotte, you can like pick one up. Again, it's like a thing the size of a golf ball attached to, I'm going to give this in Margie terms. It's basically something the size of a golf ball that looks both slightly charming and slightly dangerous, attached to what looks like a travel alarm clock, but super high tech. Like no, this is like, well, again, I'm saying this for Margie's benefit. This is more not Charlotte's, but it's just like, it's a holographic projection kind of the time and everything like this, and this little lozenge that's like the size of one of those cheapo little 100 or 1,000 megahertz like phone chargers that actually only charge your phone about a third of the way, and that's where it's all coming off of. And you're able to kind of interact with it and pull it down off. It's basically stuck to the wall with like what looks like poster tack or something similar, and you're able to pull it down. The girls are going to where you're saying, but they're like, I can tell something is here, and I can't figure out. I can't touch it. Concord, can you make them touchable?
Yes.
Maybe. Yes, maybe.
Yeah. So
I was listening to the recording of last game, and did you you rolled your burn right as we were getting done last session? Is that what you were doing? I can't remember.
Not that I'm aware.
Or maybe it was the end of the session before that. I can't remember. I was.
I have a +1 going forward. I don't think it was related to this. I don't think it would be applicable for this.
Well, the +1 forward just sort of applies to whatever. But what was that? What were the circumstances of the +1 forward? What was that about?
It was if I act on what I've been told to fit in better.
Oh yeah, that's not.
So that comes in the future.
Yeah, that comes with more like a social interaction kind of thing, not so much this.
I just was saying that in case that was the +1 you were thinking of.
No, 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 no. It's all good. So.
Kunichi, there's not room, sweetheart. I love you. Here.
So Concord,
Yeah.
what you doing?
Well, Concord's immediate thought was, well, those are going to have to go someplace. And he figured that they were actually going to be able to grab them, but since they're not, we're going to have to do some changing of, the phasmic constants of the universe.
So change their phase states,
Uh-huh.
so to speak. What does that look like for you? Either Alicia or Leo. We'll say Alicia. Like I said, Ghost Girl was able to pull one of these, and then pulling one of those brings it into focus, like into something approaching phase, so that you can examine the thing or see it at least, and figure out what's going on there.
Okay.
So that's a assess if you're feeling assessy.
I'm feeling definitely a sassy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wait on that though. Concord, what are you up to?
So the way I kind of see this is, they're just like, hey, we need these here. So Concord's like, okay, I think I can do that. Kind of like hands both, bringing his hands together in front of him and just sort of do like release like a little whoosh of energy. Probably goes throughout the entire floor.
Okay.
And much like how we did the truth bomb before, these are just going to true these things to, this particular, I don't want to say reality, but like this particular phase.
Are you using the Kenome tapping
Uh-huh.
thing? Just so
Possibility.
Yeah, the you channel the full capacity of your incredible powers to overcome an obstacle. Spend 2 burn to take a 10 plus when you unleash your powers.
Yep, but I'm gonna have to burn for that.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your burn. See what we have going on there.
Now to remember how burn works.
There's
let's
a-
roll
there's a-
first. Okay, so I think I get
burn
3
off.
points off of that. Let me double check really quick.
That's fine. By all means, do that. And let me look at it. Let's see.
But I know
Okay.
I at least get 2 points, so I can use that for tapping into the Kenome.
Yeah, 10's probably a good. I mean, it's almost always a good roll.
I think what it is I get 3 no matter what, as long as I get a hit, and then it's just whether or not I pick up more conditions or not.
Right. So you check it, but I think if nothing else, you've got enough burn to throw the 2 at this thing, which
Yep.
is the overcome the thing. All right. So that gets them into something like phase. Meanwhile, Alicia is. Hey, could I touch that for just? Could I look at that for just 1 second?
Wait, isn't
Actually,
Alicia?
actually,
Alicia is
Alicia grabs it.
What?
Alicia grabs it.
Oh, Alicia grabs it. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know how careful she's being with.
With all due respect to the potentially lethal technology,
Right.
Not necessarily to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe to Charlotte, because actually,
That's why I was saying she's
that's
maybe
how
like,
horribly dangerous Charlotte is.
could I look at that? Just tech to tech, nerd to nerd, tech thing to tech thing, kind of thing. All right, but so Charlotte, unless you like hide the thing from her.
21st century individual to 19th century. So I will go ahead and assess.
Please. On hit, green 3 burn at 7-9 mark condition. Great. Awesome. Full hit. Look at that. Wow, that may be the first decent roll you've ever had. I think Alicia's been good to you.
It helps when I've got superior of 3, although we all know that actually doesn't do anything in this game.
No.
Because even with the superior of 3, I could have rolled a 0 on 2 dice somehow.
Okay, so 11 is full hit. We're doing assess the situation. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to get down here to the basic move and get that guy up. I need to move that basic move thing.
I get to ask 2.
Ask 2. Take +1. You know, I realized why I had this confused because this similar move in other PTBA games gives you ask 3 in this. That's why I had it all screwed up. Okay, so, well, I mean, you pick what you want to pick. I know which one I would pick if there's a room full of like weird clock-based devices. Do you have the list handy?
I do have the list. I'm
Okay.
looking at it.
While he's sorry.
How can we best end this quickly?
Okay. And what were you going to say, Gigi?
I think I missed something. So the others couldn't pull these off the walls?
No, because you were in phase enough to show where they were at, so you were in phase enough to actually touch them. Pointing them out, they still can't interact. Like, it's like they're in ghost form. They literally were like grabbing where you said, and they weren't grabbing them. So Concord shifted the phase on the others so that
yeah, got that.
so they could
Okay,
be grabbed. That was what was going on. You were right and pointed right where they were. It's like, and even the girls could even kind of figure out that there was something weird there, but they couldn't grab it.
Okay.
So, and I will say this, Concord, as you're doing that, you felt as though the things that you shifted were already kind of en route to dropping into phase with the rest of the room anyway.
Yeah.
You just
in 5, 4, 3.
Okay, so what you're looking at, I mean, the tech is fancy, but what you're looking at is a basic airport travel alarm clock. Okay, except for tech that literally does not yet exist as anything other than hypertech. This is not hypertech, but it looks like it's accomplishing things that at this point in time normally only hypertech would be able to do. You check a few things, you look at the thing and say, well, it's set to this time, and there is an alarm set. The alarm is set for 10:23. It's been 10:22 for a lot longer than you'd like it to be. The device itself that you're looking at is like, you don't know, you wouldn't be able to say exactly what it does, but you're absolutely sure that there's little tiny beads of infinite badness. And you don't necessarily want to find out, but you're pretty sure if that alarm goes off, it's bad for everybody. Luckily, there's just a button that you hold on the back side of this thing that if you hold down for a couple of seconds, it shuts the alarm off. So it won't go off. And that's, to end it quickly, you just have to do that to 23 of these things before the clock ticks over to 10:23. Or 20 of these things, or whatever it is.
Well, that's
I don't
probably
mean
not helpful.
I don't mean you specifically. I mean people
Yes.
need to do that.
People, everyone needs to do that. And all of them are now presently in phase. thanks
Yes,
to Concord's,
Concord's bringing them back. Is bringing them back into phase. So there's like a bunch of them, and it's just a matter of getting it done. And you've answered this. You know, take +1 on acting on the answers. So you're giving a +1. If you just say, it's like, there's a button on the back, hold it down, shut off the alarm before we all die, kind of thing. That gives them every. Yeah. Then we just
that was
have
roughly what she was going to say.
Yes. Sorry. So at that point in time, it's just a matter of somebody rolling a. I'm going to say an unleash your powers. It's just a question of who does it, and the only person in the room who hasn't rolled is on this particular thing is Leo.
Go fish.
Yeah, go fish, really. And then
Well-
we have 4 points to assist with that. So that's everybody doing. But or if Gigi, if you have a way you think you could maybe just shut the clock off or something like that, or if anybody has a thing that could do basically something akin to what Alicia said, then you could do that. I want you to think about that for a second because we're going to shift. So that's Alicia going, press the button on the back, shut off the alarm before we all die, and then we cut to Harry. Harry, you are making very good time to the lobby. Impossibly good time to the lobby, really. You've never tried running at full speed while also phased, so that's a new combo for you. So you may have found a little bit of an extra gear there. Also, the phasing part means you can kind of cheat a little bit and go through walls. You don't think whoever it is that you're chasing is doing that. He's actually turning corners and stuff, and since you know the layout of the building and stuff, you can sort of guesstimate a little bit and go, well, the lobby is that direction. I can just run downward at about a 35-degree angle, and, you know, control jump fall kind of thing through the floors, and hopefully I won't hit a conduit of power cables or something like that on the way and accidentally electrocute myself. That sound good? Say that again.
Not electrocuting myself sounds good.
That none of the rest of the plan, but oh, poor Harry. All right. Okay, so let's see about you catching this guy. And that's going to be also, we have a lot of Unleash Your Power rolls tonight, but let's see an Unleash Your Powers roll. Unfortunately, you currently have a condition that penalizes that, but see what we can do.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Concord's thought there. I've got burn left for a barrier, so we could throw them into the middle of the room and just bubble it. Oh, I see. Bubble the bombs.
I mean, fictionally, I like that one better, but
That's actually, I like this. Like,
yeah. My idea was sort of the side of that, which is just, you know, out of this existence.
Can I? Oh, I like that. That yeah. Although that does beg the question of what the heck's gonna. I mean, that could have ramifications.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't suggest it.
Yeah, it's one of those like. Charlotte almost experienced a bit of guilt. It's like, no, you've been constantly thinking of like, we can't just use other universes as our garbage disposal. That's clearly has negative ramifications. The garbage all goes somewhere, people. I do kind of, can I just say for the record, I love the idea of
come from somewhere, yes.
Throw all the bombs in the conversation pit and I'll bubble them. And, you know, as a, and just absolutely shredding the conversation pit would be hilarious.
Yay!
I'm really sorry.
If I get to redecorate it.
Jason, I'm really sorry. We wanted to continue meeting here, but you know, while the place is under construction, we're just going to have to move to some other abandoned base.
The conversation pit is literally a pit now that leads to the lower floor. Okay.
Which engenders conversation, but you know, not that kind. Yeah.
Yep. What here can I use to neutralize the bombs? Apparently Concord might be the answer to that question. Neutralizing the bombs. Yeah. You could throw them in the kitchen and get everybody get behind the counter, but you don't know what's in these things. I mean, if they're Claymore-like in their function, it's a whole lot of bad. Harry, why don't you give me an Unleash Your Powers and see what we got? Oh, look at that. Look at that. A 9, a very palpable. Okay, so kind of a mixed bag.
Not going to go for the roof instead of the lobby?
No. This thing's a runner. It wants to be on the ground. Also has places to be. All right, so Unleash Your Powers. What's that?
Able to fly. Who knows?
Yeah, he's heading down at any rate.
Or at night.
But it could be like the alien at the beginning of Men in Black that's like climbing up the walls.
When you unleash your powers to overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment, extend your senses roll on a hit, you do it 7 to 9, mark a condition, or the GM will tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary. And the effect in this case would be catching up with the thing.
Can I propose a way to spend team to help this roll?
Yes, if you want to get it to a 10.
Otto's outside.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Because you know what's funny? About 15 minutes ago, I was thinking, Otto could actually pincer this thing. And then so much stuff has happened, I forgot about that. Yes. As soon as this crap started happening, he starts motoring, literally. around to the front.
If Mercury calls out Otto and coordinates with him, then spend team and that'll bring it up to a 10.
Well, honestly, even if he's not calling out, because it may not occur to him to do it, Otto will get there in time too. Because all it takes is, I mean, at the speed that Otto's not functioning at the speed, but at the speed that these guys that Harry's functioning at and this guy is functioning at, a hesitation of a second is ages. So as Otto's,
I just also want to point out he literally has rockets.
Yes.
Like he may not be a speedster, but he's not slow.
Yeah, I'm thinking more reaction time type stuff at this point because they're weirdly like he's not quite phased now at this point in time. But so Otto coming around, kind of already boosting in car form, flipping out into like bot mode, still boosting and stuff, gives this thing just enough of a pause that Harry can come up and get within distance of this thing. Harry, what do you do? I'm making no. That was a 10 functionally. So this isn't 10, but you've caught up to the guy, and you can probably stay with him, at least for the time being. And also, this thing is kind of looking around like. Weirdly, he's not so much paying attention to Otto as he was like looking around and. Like he's looking all around him, like either something he was expecting isn't here, or something he wasn't expecting is here, or something. And he's still got the case. What do you do? Thank you, Bill. I'm so glad. I'm glad somebody remembered Otto all the way to the point where it mattered. Harry, are you muted?
Just thinking.
Oh, okay. Because if your deal is to grab the thing, that's a directly engage.
Trip it?
Because then you can like take if you get a directly engage. Say again.
Can I trip it?
I mean, you can. Yes, you can trip it up. You can bring it down. You can try to grab the case. You can do any of those things that we're talking about in that kind of context is basically a directly engage. It's just a question of what choices you make after you make the roll. So
figure best case scenario I can kind of capture it. Worst case scenario I can get the case back.
Yep.
Going to.
Yeah, get that.
Tripping
Yeah.
it.
Did Harry said, yeah, because one of the things that Harry shouted was somebody stole the heart machine case. And Leo's able to, in amongst all the bomb grabbing, able to verify that, yeah, it's not there. So
I can build another one. Get that guy.
Or I would think actually Leo would more like get that case back.
Yeah, or I mean, honestly, if you can
maybe with the guy's hand still attached to it, but the case is probably the
throw a manhole cover. That always works. So Harry, I need you to roll. Sorry, I need you to roll danger. Taking you outside. Oh,
can you try?
His danger is actually a 1, except he has afraid right now, which makes it somewhat problematic, but it could be worse. All right,
could he act to defend the case?
No.
Damn.
I mean, once he has it.
Sorry.
Yes. That's not bad though, because yes, we can.
Is Otto still able to spend team on this as well, or are we past that?
Absolutely. I'm already spending the team now because he helped with the one thing, and now he's going to help with this other thing. That gets it up to a 7 though. So let's take a look at the directly engage maneuver. I really need to move that. I'm just going to move that real quick because I need to get that up where I can make more use of it. For some reason, I shifted it someplace and it's not in a good place for me. All right. Directly engage. So you got a 7. Pick one. Resist or avoid their blows. Probably off the table. Take something from them. Create an opportunity for your allies, or also probably not that useful. Impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
Take something.
There's speed from them?
Well, I mean, you could trip them up you know, that kind of a thing. But that's not going to necessarily get the case back away from the guy.
Oh
He-
no, I have Leo shouting into my ear to get the guy.
Well, get that guy back here. You can like certainly try to take away his mobility. Yes. But that's basically grabbing the guy, and that's gonna hurt a little bit if that's what you do, because at this point in time you don't have the option of avoiding their blows, which means potential weirdness can happen. Well, it means that you're not avoiding whatever he's doing back, and directly engaged in an exchange of hostilities.
Yeah.
So it's a question of Alicia, what was the other question that you asked?
How can I neutralize this threat? What here can I use to neutralize the bombs?
Huh. All right. That might, yeah.
Which seem to be answered by
Yeah, Concord.
Concord.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, whatever you do at this point in time, Harry, in terms of like what actual action you're taking, you're probably going to be taking some sort of blow back from this guy. He's going to be taking a hit too, but in addition to that, you get to do a thing. You can try to take his mobility away from him, but again, he's going to have, you know, you're taking a hit no matter what. So it's a question of, do you want him or do you want the case? I know what Leo's shouting, but what do you want?
I think it's to get the case guy, just because he can give us more information than the case can.
True. You can do either one.
The guy.
All right. So you just basically like pile into this guy and grab him. It's not pretty. Harry is lots of things, but he's not necessarily a big brawler. But he wasn't. It wasn't like he wasn't trained on this stuff. Okay, so gotta go. Sorry, I need to pull up. Need to pull up the sheet for this bad boy, real quick. All right. Or no, I'm sorry, that's not what I want. Oh, there it is. All right. Actually, I'll leave this up so it gets. All right.
Bill, no.
Bill, yes.
What did I miss?
That is my preferred answer to that question, so thank you, Bill.
Oh.
Run him over with the car.
The car is a very nice touch.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, what did I see? Zooms in. Quill pocket-sized expandable handcuffs. Alicia's room. So funny. It's so funny. All right. Okay, so I'm kind of compressing this all into one thing here, because he's gonna. So he. Okay, I'm sorry. I need you guys to hang on for just 1 second. Okay, I'll be right back.
By that logic, all of our characters are children.
A minor.
We're all minors.
Does that mean we're gonna get the black lung? Bad puns.
Yeah.
Actually,
A minor pun.
they're all male.
You really know how to pick them. At least you just can keep going in that vein.
I think it was sort of an either-or question. Sort of a fatal extraction.
I'm just trying to avoid getting killed for this. So
We'll just give you the shaft. I know, it's the pits.
it's going to be a cold day in hell before I give up on this.
All right, sorry about that, guys. Had to deal with stuff here real quick. All right, so I'm going to kind of compress this a little bit. So, luckily for, I mean, Harry, you don't really have to. I mean, when you engage this guy, you don't actually really, you sort of plow into him, but it's not any kind of forceful hit or anything that really seems to shock him. Your contact with him is, literally speaking, electrifying. Like there's a really weird kind of direct hit on your funny bone kind of feeling that you guys get as you guys connect with each other. And partly in response to that, partly in response to being grabbed, this guy just goes, I don't want to say berserk, but he is lashing out just in like any opening he can get at. He's clawing at your face, he's clawing at, you know, he's kicking, he's like, actually it almost seems like he's trying to bite. His voice doesn't sound like an alien or a creature or anything like that. It sounds like, it kind of, honestly, it sounds like somebody who's got an auto tune on, sort of, in a weird way. It's like a regular human voice, but like machine modulated. And you get it's quite possible that what he's wearing is some kind of like suit, maybe, or something. He's still not to human scale at all. He's probably a foot taller than you or anything like that. So, between the initial contact and what everything he's doing to you, I'm going to have you take a powerful blow. He is going to take, well, I've got that tracked down. He's taking conditions too, but I'm going to have you take a powerful blow. Otto is, say, you roll, there's a dice roll thing right above your conditions.
I have a move for that. I personally have
Oh,
a move.
right.
That's the same one that he rolled during training.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Which one is that? What is that? Never give up,
Roll
never surrender?
saber instead.
Yes. On a hit, you stand strong and shoot. Very nice. I don't know about he's in far greater power, but I think this is a desperate enough situation for this to matter. Very nice. On a hit, you stand strong and choose one. A 7 to 9 marker condition. You get an opportunity or opening against your attacker. You rally from the hit, and it inspires the team. Add one team to the pool. You keep your attacker's attention. Yes.
Really?
Oh, here we go.
are you going with you keep your attacker's attention?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And running away.
Yeah, so you basically, I mean, tell me about, if you don't mind, tell me about the kind of hand-to-hand training that your family has made you do for situations like
Fighting
know,
other speedsters.
fighting other speedsters, dealing with stuff like this.
Fighting
Sooner or later, my boy.
Every speedster has had that bad guy who manages to take away their speed. And, my family made sure that if that happened, I wasn't going to be
Helpless.
not able to throw a punch.
So what kind of was it wrestling? Was it Aikido? Was it judo? Was it just mixed martial arts? We're just gonna put you in a
kicking and scratching like a girl.
We're just gonna put you in a steel cage and Krav Maga. What do you do?
Probably a mixture, since every family member has their own opinion on which fighting style is.
Yeah, your mom's definitely more of a sort of an Aikido, Tai Chi, China type of thing. Your dad's
very, very controlled.
Yeah, your dad's more like submission holds. Like, try to get him we're fast, man. Try to get him into a full Nelson. It's an illegal move, but honestly, we're not getting graded on points here. And your uncle's kind of in that same boat where it's like, let me show you where nerve bundles are at.
And Granny just says, kick him in the balls.
Yeah. She would never say it that way. But, yeah, her feedback on Chase's...
Her feedback is, well, you know where the biggest bundle of nerves is.
I agree with the nerve bundles, but I have a very specific suggestion about that. Grandma!
Mom!
Obviously, you need to go to home ec.
Oh, Villains Victorious blogged about speedsters. We'll have to check that out.
Reading this will take far more time than you want to spend now, but it's just a general thing.
Krav Maga, Hebrew for every third move, punch them in the vulnerables. Yes, pretty much. Okay, so you're just kind of scrambling for any kind of hold you can get on this guy, like gouging what looks like soft spots, any of that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like, it's not exactly like wrestling Otto because he's big, but he's lean. And the guy keeps, trying to get at your own vulnerable spots, but you're moving and you're really just kind of using your speed, not so much to go anywhere, but just to stay on him. And not be where he's reaching and stuff like that. So you're kind of almost crawling around him. At normal speeds, it looks like, an atom with electrons circling, because it's not really, easily trackable. And that we're gonna leave you there for a second. In the room, we said kind of like flip a coin, but who wants to do the overcome that everybody's going to help on getting these things where they need to be?
Well, that was an unleash.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, unleash.
I have a bad idea.
You have a bad idea? What's the bad idea?
Oh, just for
I love bad ideas.
Yes, just because I think it makes an interesting thing.
Okay.
So, while Alicia and all of them are like grabbing the things off the wall, and like Alicia, I don't know if Alicia even like announced like hit the button on the back.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah.
I think that's when Adam is just going to be like, one hand up in the pointing towards the conversation pit, and just with like a weird cracking in his voice, is just like, smart people. How big of an explosion?
Uh, 12 feet. Well, I mean, if you,
I should be fairly decent at figuring out.
I was about to say.
yeah, no, yeah.
Newtons.
Oh,
Oh,
bombs. Let's see.
just tot up all the various things. If each one of those little BBs attached to the outside of this thing is a bomb, then, I mean, what do you, when you say how big an explosion, what are you asking? Like
How
what's
big of
what
a
the force? Oh, not how big spatially. Like what's the force of it?
Because how big of a gravity well do I have to make in the middle of the conversation pit to make those explosions not do crap?
The explosion actually isn't the force. You're pretty sure this is some sort of flechette claymore.
Yeah,
Well,
it's the
Right, it's a
shrapnel.
fragmentation grenade.
What's
Right.
that?
It's a fragmentation grenade. I mean, it's
And
each of those little balls there is going to go flying off at some high speed
It's
and shred any flesh in the way.
it's 20 squared fragmentation grenades.
Yeah, in all directions. So
Yes, basically.
Right.
So it's
and
not
if
so
they
much.
Can't escape, and if they can't escape a gravity well, they don't go anywhere.
Okay, that
Sure.
that works just as well as the barrier. What is the thing you're doing?
Oh, it's still the barrier, but basically I'm calling back to the conversation that Adam and Otto had, where
About
basic,
Sable Star?
well, that Adam remembered that he could do that.
I like
Also,
Alicia, yours is already disarmed. Do you want to throw it in there? Or you want to keep it to examine it later?
oh, the one that I have?
Yep.
If it's disarmed, I will let's definitely hold on to it to examine later.
All right.
I mean, that's just what every terrorist doesn't want to have happen.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Asking for a friend.
Asking for. I'm going to examine it later. I am not surreptitiously slipping it in my pocket. I am just slipping it in my pocket. Surreptitiously would imply intent. Okay. So do you need to roll anything for the barrier, or is it just good?
nope, it is spend one burn to create a barrier that'll hold back threats as long as you keep your attention on it.
Okay. So
I imagine this thing is like a tiny, like, as the gravity
Yeah.
starts pulling up, Adam starts kind of giggling to himself a little bit because that was the emotion, just glee.
okay.
And basically, I imagine like chips,
Oh,
stray
yeah.
little piece of paper, everything is just flinging right into the middle of the room.
Any loose
I'm
items?
actually going to create a salty potato singularity here.
Yeah. Any loose items anywhere, even near the conversation period, are going to be sucked in. It's only a momentary burst of gravity if you can time it right, but it's a matter of like detecting when the things are going to go off and just sort of activating it right then for just a moment. So yeah, there is that moment where you see. Honestly, it reminds me of the implosion bomb from like Ant-Man when he's like sucks the whole building in. I think it was an Agent.
Yeah.
It was an Agent Carter too. But yeah, it starts to explode out and then it explodes in. Those of you who would recall this, it definitely is strongly reminiscent of that little wormhole thing, the reverse gravity kind of wormhole-y thing that Sable Star did during that one fight. So there might be some unpleasant memories there.
That's for Carter. That was good times for me.
It means nothing to me. It looks cool.
Yeah. Ghost Girl, what do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah,
Not get blown up?
the bombs are swooped. Let me rephrase that. Otto's like, Harry's wrestling this weird dude up here that looks like a vector graphic. Can you guys I don't even want
Where are you?
front right outside the building.
Okay,
It's nighttime. So
I'm just going to go there, but
Yeah,
it helps to know where I'm going.
Yeah, right. I mean, but I'm just saying it's nighttime. You have the correct elements nearby to do that. So
Yeah.
okay.
We'll step towards Harry.
Do you vorp anybody else with you?
Please.
Grab me if you want to go to Harry.
I will associate myself with Ghost Girl in a
Stick my hands out.
heavenly fanner. Yeah.
Okay, I'll hang out here with the kid and the 2 fembots. Got it.
Alicia's take on all of this is great. I'm sorry to keep interrupting. Give me about a minute and a half here, guys. Sorry. I'm
family stuff.
I'm
Got
hurting family stuff. Hang on for a second.
The kid, the fembots, and Jason, who's still kind of still in the.
She doesn't mention Jason.
Yeah,
When she said the kid, she meant Jason.
But Jason is still here, so just. Or Jason headed for the bathroom right before all of this happened, and that's why he's not doing anything. Jason comes out and thinks the party has gotten really kind of crazy because the entire conversation pit has been shredded.
Harry's gone. There's a smoking pile of chips on the floor. A singularity of chip.
We finally found a concentration of salt more saltier than mercury. That's amazing.
Okay. Oh my god. All right, I'm sorry. I'm back. Okay, so Ghost Girl, who did you grab? Who did you vorp? Link? Leo and who was it?
Whoever
Concord.
Whoever else grounds my
Concord
own.
will make. Yeah, Concord will make a reach out for that while he's still like coming down off of this.
Off of this thing? Okay. Okay.
Might be a little bumpy.
I totally want to see the scene that happens with Alicia left with the girls. So we're gonna.
And Jason, who we've decided actually had just stepped out to the restroom before this all happened.
Lovely.
Which is why he's not doing anything.
Right. That's fine. Okay. So. Excuse me. He is paying attention to Mercury, trying to get Mercury off of him. Mercury is having none of it. You guys have vorped in. I'll go back and say, Charlotte, what do you do? Since you are the most recent, haven't done anything person that's currently on scene.
So are they moving at a speed where we can see them, or is it just, are we sensing them?
I'm going to actually refer to this image that Mercury linked up here as sort of a reference because it's not bad. If you go back up to where James linked, it's not exactly right.
Basically an atom model.
Yeah, like the atom, like you can see him and you see the blur of Mercury around him, like really close, like on him. But
and where's the heart machine? Is the heart machine in the blur?
Yeah.
Or is the heart machine like on the ground?
He's holding on. He's still got it clutched in his hand.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm gonna exactly what I'm gonna do.
Say that you broke up. Go ahead.
I'm gonna do.
Okay.
As soon as the others let go, I'm going to grab him and shift.
Grab the guy? You're gonna grab
Leave the case and drive the guy. Even if I get both of them.
Okay. So you're gonna grab the case and the guy, or just grab? I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm going to grab him, and if
Okay.
I get Harry, I get Harry.
Okay. All right. So you're
But
gonna.
I'm going to leave try and leave the case behind. Something new.
Ooh, interesting. All right. I'm gonna call that directly engaged because the result that you have is that you're basically taking something from him.
You're getting him to drop something. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting him to drop something. So that's going to be a directly engaged, which may not play to your strengths.
No, that made very good.
This is definitely not going to play to your strengths, but that's what makes this fun, or possibly a potential for XP. Either or.
Yeah. I mean, although it is kind of related to the
Say
He's
again.
a freak, but I said it
You're-
is related
well,
to mirror
you're-
versus freak, but I understand what you're saying.
It's
there,
the
so
use
yeah,
of.
we'll do it that way.
No, I think this is a useful thing to kind of say. Any one of your moves, and I don't mean just you specifically, but anybody's moves could involve their use of their powers. In fact, they usually will. If you're whether you're overcoming an obstacle or whether you're whatever you're doing, even reading is like provoking somebody, depending on what your powers are, could be manifested in there. Unleashing your powers, that use of freak, is for kind of specific applications of overcoming an obstacle or putting up an obstacle or that kind of stuff. If you're fighting something, if you're trying to, and if you look at the list of things you can do with a directly engage, you might certainly be using your powers, but you're not unleashing your power. This sort of like letting them go. You're doing them for this purpose. But again, danger's not your strong suit, but you're not afraid, so you're no worse off than Harry was, at least.
With my numbers, I mean, what should we be at total?
You default to 3, and then if you've used any advances to raise your stats, they can go up from there.
I'm showing 3, but I should be at 4.
You should be at 4, because your first thing was +1 label and rearrange.
Yeah. It's not going to change danger, but
no, but it's definitely worth noting that you should have another point in there somewhere.
Okay. I'll deal with it.
Yeah, we'll deal with that when we get done with Aaliyah. You're right, because you should be at a 4. Go ahead and roll danger. See where, like I said, no worse than where Harry was, and we still have a couple of points in the pool, so we'll see where we are. And we have an 8, which with 2 more points is actually enough to get to a 10. If you guys want that, it'd be a lot of fun to do that. Oh God, you could leave him in the shadow world. That'd be so good.
Did we not just go over why dropping our garbage off to other universes is a bad idea?
But it still makes it so funny. Okay.
I could just drop them in Aegis.
Yeah, you could drop him in like a.
Guy, I want to keep him in this dimension.
You've got to. You do have that one, like I think we've said, it's like some sort of kind of holding cell thing in the. Quill.
Oh God, not the basement of the Quill Foundation.
Yeah. Well, until
good. Right next to the Ark of the Covenant.
All right. So
and the hole that that Adam just made, right?
So directly engage. Roll plus danger on a hit. You trade blows. On a 10 plus, you can pick 2. On a 7-9, you can pick 1. So you can take something from them, which is just a different way to, take away that thing by basically porting him away. That wouldn't necessarily, that doesn't necessarily capture him. With the 10, you can take several things away from him. Well, you probably couldn't pick twice, but it depends on whether or not, we've got 2, you've got 2 people, 3 people really, who can demonstrably help here to push up to the 10 if that's what you guys want to do. Do you guys want to do that, or what do you want to do?
I think that's on Harry and Concord because they have the applicable powers here. I, as a player, am all for capturing this guy because Leo will definitely want to talk to him.
Yeah. This is, well, you are I don't have a problem with necessarily with Leo or Link interacting with the situation because you do have that sort of combat brain. I
just don't have, as a player, anything fun or clever to bring to it, so that's why I'm deferring.
Yeah. I shoot my cable in.
Yeah, unless Otto sits on them or something.
But yeah, Concord's right there. Harry is right there. Harry has worked in close proximity to Ghost Girl. Actually, I've just recently re-listened to that part where Ghost Girl was sort of inside Harry for a while in that one fight.
Yep.
It was so good. You guys were freaking out so good. Anyway, so as Ghost Girl is coming in and kind of getting a little like with that spooky like ghost approach kind of thing, Harry, what do you do? Since he's so focused on you, he's not really paying attention to this. What do you try to get? Are you like sort of kicking him toward her, try to get clear, lock her down,
Pulling on the suitcase.
yeah, locking him down even tighter, going for the suitcase and rolling clear? What do you do?
I'm going to make sure that he doesn't have a chance to get away. I chased this guy and I don't want to see him run away.
All right, that's fair. So yeah, I'm going to say, Ghost Girl, you're probably going to end up with Harry also, but you can
That's fine.
you can definitely get him loose. So you basically, Harry, you go. I'm going to say you go exactly the way your dad would. You go for the full Nelson and manage to get like a lock. You probably can't hold it for very long, but you only need to hold it for about a second. Concord, what do you do here? Again, we're just narrating, so we don't need to, but what's it look like?
So the way I would see that happening is like Adam's still like coming down off of like, doing the whole gravity thing.
Uh-huh.
He sees Mercury and the guy wrestling here, and for like that brief second, the guy's gonna start slipping through Harry's grasp, and Adam's just like looking at it like, oh, that's not good.
Okay.
And Adam is subconsciously just going to. I've got the key gnome, so I think probability just needs to come in here. It's just like nudging it towards, yeah, Harry kept a hold of him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, every little bit of luck this guy has, he's having nothing but bad luck right now, as far as any of that goes.
That seems to be working out.
So, okay. Harry is luckily used to this sensation. So we have taking something away from him. We take away the case. Impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition, or take something from them. Or resist, I guess resist or avoid their blows. You don't want to necessarily have to take a condition from this, Gigi. That's totally fine too. That's absolutely fair. I shouldn't even rule that out. That makes perfect sense, actually, given the fiction, that you just don't take any counterattack from this guy.
Sorry, I had my headphone up.
It's okay.
So
you get to pick two, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
and takeaway is sort of assumed at this point.
So obviously, take away something was the initial
purpose.
I can actually take see what any of these things would be like to what would the apprehend that full control look like? So is that something where I create an opportunity for Harry to do that, or is that
creating opportunity for the allies would basically, you'd expose yourself to a little bit more risk from this guy, and he does generate energy fields that would interact with you, so you'd probably take a shot there, but that would leave things open for Link to you'd leave the guy shocked enough for Link to like cable him down or something like that, or for Concord to, or for the both of them to. So that's creating. I
don't think that I had a chance to get into my suit. That's the only thing about that.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's a really good point.
Otto's there. What can Otto?
Well, yeah, Otto's got cables too. So yeah, Otto can absolutely cable the guy up, or just sit on him.
That would be fine.
Put him in the trunk, so to speak.
Yeah, you are certainly impressed, surprised, or frightened the observation. I mean, narratively speaking, I don't have a problem with this guy like literally freaking out at the ghost thing and like surrendering. The condition that if he picks up afraid, one of the options off of there, just to pull aside the GM curtain for a second, is literally go, I give up, I'm done, I'm out. So you could just scare the shit out of him, have him just surrender a little early.
But okay, let's go with that.
And we're close enough
Well,
not to make it too meta, but we're close enough to the end of the night that I'm okay with that.
yeah, we'll just put a little banshee in there.
All right, so as you're coming to him, you kind of do it's that thing where it's like, oh, I kind of remember this from maybe Ghostbusters, where it's like the pretty woman coming at you, and then suddenly the skull, the skin peels back, and it's just the dead skull going.
I'm trying to decide which of the ponies made me watch Ghostbusters.
Because that one scene where the girl like does the stuff over the bed,
Yeah,
you're like, oh
librarian,
my
right?
word.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all like nudging each other behind your back when that scene was coming up. There's also the occasional like, could you stack these books for us? Because no human can stack books like that. Okay, so yeah, he will, as his response from afraid, I'm gonna not pull up that document because I don't have time for it. But I know one of them is just kind of go, yep, nope. All right, so he'll kind of go more into he actually kind of quails, I guess is the best word for it, and kind of drops to his knees. He's looking up, but he's not looking up at he's not looking up at you, Gigi. He's looking up at the sky. Whatever that is, whether he's still looking for whatever wasn't here or whatever was here when he got out here in the first place.
Yeah, as long as he's not looking for his ride home.
Well, if he is, it doesn't seem to be here.
Hey, Catboy, what is your goddamn problem?
It was just a job. It was just a job, man. It was just Catboy.
Well, you got fired. Like, who put you up to this?
It wouldn't even make any sense for me to say, man. I mean, I don't even know if I can say anything without. I'm not saying anything. I don't even know if I can say anything without like. Bad things can happen, man. Just bad thing. And he's still auto-tuned, but he definitely sounds like a guy, like just like a dude. Otto at this point is like, no. I named him first. You don't go to a cat guy. We're calling him Vector. I said Vector first. It's cool. He's gonna be Vector. It's like pointing at all of you, like he's calling dibs. Just saying, cool name.
Okay, what do you mean you can't say anything? You said a lot.
Dude, I don't really understand the science, okay?
What science?
Like, I don't know if I can say anything without messing up stuff.
We're gonna mess your stuff up. Start talking.
No, Leo, don't think of science. Is it do you have limits on what you can say?
I don't know. Probably. It's just like step on a butterfly stuff.
Oh, you mean like you're from the future coming here and you don't want to mess things up? Yeah, thank you.
I'm not nodding. I am not doing anything.
I saw the alarm clock, so, yeah. Okay.
The alarm clock?
I'm done.
Oh, shit. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Sucks to be you. She actually picked up from the pony. But it comes out like this. Well, now it sucks to be you.
Okay.
All right. You don't have to say yes or no. Just cringe elaborately for every correct thing that I say. Are you or is your technology from the future?
Well, he cringes elaborately.
1 cringe for yes, 2 cringes for no.
We're going to stop with the we're going to stop on the question: are you or is your technology from the future?
That's fair.
And we'll stop there because it is getting to be that time. Summary bits. Alicia, after having commandeered.
You're on mute, dear.
Just
after
as a note, Alicia was already intending to hand over the
stuff,
the little nanobot bomb thing, phase hoo-ha, to Summer and say, could you hold on to this for me? I can't take it with me. They do an elaborate bed check.
I will tell you what you were able to immediately ascertain, and also with a quick Google, double check a thing. So 2 quick facts.
That's let me to a computer where I can use Google?
No, but Jason's all of Jason's.
Jason finally comes back from the bathroom.
All of well, actually, you could probably just have him check this real quick for you. Jason, would you check patent number? Rattle, 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 rattle. And he does. He's like, nope, nothing found. So 2 quick facts about the alarm clock. It was manufactured by Rook Technologies, and the patent number does not exist yet.
It's like not exists as in,
it hasn't been issued yet.
Yeah,
it's 2 million numbers beyond the current number of patents. Okay, thank you.
More like 20, but yeah, million ahead of sequence. But yes. Or whatever appropriate number of million. Yeah, it's well ahead of sequence on the patent numbers.
It's from the future. If only I had a way of communicating to the rest of the team to let them know that. I'm sure it would be terribly meaningful to them.
Summer nudges area. We'll work on that. Again, we probably shouldn't send you back to bed check.
No,
with,
earbuds.
With an earbud. Yeah. They might take offense. I kind of when you're headed back with your, because that'll be in 3 minutes. Probably you don't want to mention the fact that we almost got bombed. Maybe we'll just keep that on the. This is area saying, and yes, you're welcome for me allowing you to preserve your plotagon intact.
Alicia wasn't planning on talking about this to anybody.
She says to the 4th wall. Okay, quick summary of other stuff. So that's what you guys got there. This guy, conveniently, Aegis was literally pulling up like 3 minutes later, and will happily take. We shall refer to him as Vector. I need to come up with the acronym for that. Into custody with they'll call in like a Ford Transit van with some power muting bracelets or something. Parker is there to pick up. Walker apparently like hitched a ride and says to Leo, I was actually hoping to ride back with you and talk while we drove.
Yeah, because I want to talk to them too, so that works for me.
Yeah, and honestly, it's the best place we possibly could right now. Which lets us do that in fiction. So it's 10:30. Both in game and out of game. I like that. Adam, you have school tomorrow. Actually, all of you have school tomorrow. But
not me.
You got special dispensation because it was like this big team talk dad kind of thing. So you'll be getting home about the same time as your dad. So we will. Yeah, you don't have. Actually, we're going to end. No, we're going to start with Charlotte at the graveyard, getting to the graveyard, or we'll do it. I'll talk with Charlotte about it over the course of the thing, because the only thing I haven't been able to get to for like 3 sessions is the conversation in the cemetery with the other ghosts that they've been dying to have with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that, dying to have with you. That just came out of my mouth. Okay. Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. Time to do the thing. Alicia, closer to the team, further away, more into your own image of yourself.
Oh, I'm gonna have to say, net for tonight, closer to the team.
Okay.
And I'm going to give credit to no, not Jason. I'm going to give credit to Summer because she gave me coupons to Blitzkrieg.
I don't even know how we're going to note that down, but Summer has influence over Alicia. One of the bots has, and I say bots because Alicia's been doing it, but Alicia,
Because that's what Alicia would say.
Alicia is getting
Alicia's willing to listen to things that Summer might say because she gave her coupons for Blintzes.
All right. She's being nice.
And that's a better deal than she's gotten from Aegis so far, so.
You should, yeah, it actually goes right back to that whole talk. They were nice to me. You should try it sometime.
They were nice to me. They gave me coupons for Blintzes. I can't even get them, but,
but
I'm sure there's a bus line that runs somewhere nearby.
Leo, closer to the team, further away from the team, more into your own image of yourself.
I'm divided between Concord and Ghost Girl. I think it's been a while, so I'll say closer to the team, given influence to Ghost Girl.
Okay. Ghost Girl, if you don't already have influence taken, if you do, that's a shift.
I think I do on all the boys right now. Let me see. Back up to that.
If you do, go ahead and shift labels as you see fit. So much. I hope that there was sufficient. Well, it's kind of funny because there hasn't been. You know what the downside is to your burn, Adam? You don't have to roll.
I have to roll once.
Yeah, but you don't do nearly as much rolling as if you would if you weren't doing it, which means it's not generating as much XP. It's not potentially. I guess I should say there isn't as much opportunity there. But there was a lot of rolling tonight. I'm kind of happy with that. That was Bill. Mercury. Closer to the team, further away from the team, more into your own image of yourself.
Closer to the team, and I'm gonna say towards Leo, since stepped forward and
offered
to help me.
Offered to help with your dad. Is that what you were?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I don't even need to ask if Leo already has influence. Ghost Girl.
Closer to the team, and I'm actually going to say Adam because of the whole thing with Saul.
I will say, well, yes, we'll go on past that. And so excellent. Concord influence on Ghost Girl. Act accordingly. Ghost Girl, you can take potential or clear a condition. In fact, anybody, please remember if you're giving influence to, if you're taking close to the team, you either can clear a condition or take potential. Keeping in mind that shifting the labels may give you that condition right back. And finally, Adam, close to the team, further away from the team, more into your image of yourself.
Well, I feel as though I couldn't not do closer to the team. It's just a question of who.
That is tough.
And I think Harry spoke up first.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Harry, but technically, Otto spoke up first.
This is true. Actually, that does fit with the whole thing.
Right, that whole conversation you guys had. Yeah. But if you want to go, I'm not. This is your call entirely. But I just want to. I don't so much want to change things as much as to give a nod to Otto for starting that ball rolling.
Yeah. Geez, at this point, Bill's character sheet needs to have influence over with separate lines with like as Otto, as Summer.
I'm leaving that up to Doyce to track, honestly. So if he tells me I have to track it, I'll keep track of it. But
I'm
going to make you track it because you've got so many people and they're all having influence. I think you need to just put in their name and put behind it like Summer or your influence list is already like as long as my arm.
All right, so what I have so far is as Summer, Alicia, and then as Otto, Concord.
I think that's good for now. Oh, Does Summer have influence? Jason as Summer. I'm pretty sure that happened.
I'm sorry.
Was
What?
it, was it Jason or was it me?
I think there was a scene.
Oh no, I gave it to
Area?
Rusty.
You gave it to Rusty.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
If the fiction hasn't indicated that Summer has influence over Jason, I quit this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at some point in time, I am pretty sure that Jason gave influence to Summer, and if not, he should have. So we'll say that Summer has influence. The two NPCs have influence over each other. But yeah, we should track that because there's conversations where that matters.
That's fair. So yeah, it's on my sheet as you can see.
Yeah, sounds good. Are we all sorted on the various label shifts and stuff?
I think Margie owes me one label shift, but other than that, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it you or is it Adam?
I gave you influence as well.
Yeah, you got influence from two people.
Well, no, she
Yeah,
gave
but-
influence to me.
Oh,
I
right.
gave influence to Adam.
Link gave
So I
influence.
shifted hers.
And,
Oh, I keep forgetting which way it goes. Thank you. Okay.
And-
Because I gave you influence, you get to shift my labels.
yes.
Yeah,
However, whatever seems to make sense to go.
I'll make that work.
Keeping in mind that in some cases it won't shift.
Because that's what I would. Yeah, never mind. I'm there.
Keeping in mind it may not shift depending on what's locked and what isn't locked and all that kind of good stuff.
Yep.
All right, guys, there were so many fun scenes in this and good scenes in this. I loved Saul's stuff. I loved the conversation. The Saul thing was so good. The base conversation was interesting. The thing about Harry's dad. This was good and interesting also, and relates to some other stuff that's going on. So thank you. That was honestly a tremendous amount of stuff checked off of my little hopeful list for tonight. I don't even have, like, I used to name these things order of events, and now I just have it named events because it's not even order. What do you?
So I need to make a note. And I don't know if you saw it in the scheduling snafu stuff,
Right.
but the three of us here are out next week, off on the band trip to Orlando and the Bahamas.
Yeah, that's
Three more days.
That's very, very cool. I'm going to think about that. I just need to think about that. We could certainly go, and I mean, there's enough stuff going on there with sort of Aegis and Waters and Leo, but I don't feel like we're going to do that on forum and stuff like that. I
think if Mike would enjoy being part of that, then do it during the session. If not, then yeah, do it in the side.
I'm just trying to decide if we give ourselves a week break, because we actually haven't had a week off in a little bit, and let me think about what next week's going to look like. As much as I would love to play another Halcyon Hijinks, just let me get my brain around that real quick. Because next week, I will also parenthetically note that next week my wife will be out of town, so it's just me and the kiddos, which might leave my brain a trifle flat. So I'm just gonna kind of put out that we might have a week where we either don't play or maybe we play something that doesn't require me actually thinking. We'll see. Give me a couple days to see where my head's at on that. If that's okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah. I'm leery of this. Every April or every very nearly April or the end of May, my wife's out of town for a week for work trip stuff, and it's full-time dad stuff. It's not any harder. It's just all the time. So
We'll think of you as we're sipping umbrella drinks on our cruise ship.
I'll be honest. I love it. All right, I should really stop. I do